And even if it's just like, I got this color in my, write it down. I got this emotion, I write it down. I was told that they were efficient or deficient, write it down. This is all about leveling up on your sensory perception. And you will connect with their aura and be even more sensitive so you can literally feel what they're feeling. Breathe it in. Let it resonate. Let it vibrate. Let it oscillate. Reverberate. All is one. One is all. Welcome to the consciousness of the way. My divine, delectable co-host, High Priestess Jade.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Woohoo! Woohoo! How are you?
That I was gonna say that music made me go woohoo. Yeah, that was beautiful.
The sweet serenade of the shakuhachi. Origin, not in dispute, not in question. Its origin is at the deep roots of ancient practices within Taoism, within Chinese culture. That's right. It didn't originate in Japan. Anyway, I'm not going to go there. Just saying. Oh. And I'm your humble servant and Sifu, Taoist Master San Qing. Well, what do we have here? To be or not to be? That is the question.
Yeah, we could go there.
Another amazing day. Another exercise, observation of the human condition. Oh my goodness. Just so everyone knows, we're always giving you opportunity to level up your consciousness. This is the purpose, the sole purpose of this channel. And the material that is generated within this channel is for the sole purpose of consciousness, leveling up consciousness, creating awareness that in definition is consciousness. What is the definition of meditation is to be familiar, to be aware, to be all-knowing. And so, I will always have the people that are thinking and the people that are knowing. If you are thinking, you are compartmentalizing. You are myopic. You are laying down the very interworking of the human condition. Now, if you are all-knowing, if you have to learn it, you do not know it. If you know it, you do not have to learn it. Then, well, If you are knowing, you are feeling. If you are feeling, you are knowing. That is the be-all or end-all. That's why we continually revert back to the simplicity, the pure essence of the understanding that you must feel it. And so, just so you can level up, for all the 126ers out there, and there are many, you use your leveling up tool to measure the level of your consciousness, the level of your awareness, basically the mastery of your neurology. There's a specific exercise that I get them to perform on a daily basis to measure their performance, their mastery. You should never be left to consider whether you're doing anything, nothing, or absent of. You want to know, as a human being, there's A and B. And from that, to create consciousness, you want to validate it. So instead of deciding to dissolve your personality as if it was a dirty secret, dirty laundry, skeletons in the closet, understand this, we've spoken it up before. You can take on and off your personality and be in complete source instantaneously, resonating at that 5D frequency immediately. And so how do you do that? You measure the feeling, which evokes the brain waves that creates the frequency that is necessary for you to create change in a 3D reality from a 5D perspective. And so you measure it. There's an exercise that I get the 126s to do that can measure it on a day-to-day basis. There is zero reason for you to spend 1 second of your time without validating your performance, without validating your ability to create, and it's instantaneous. Now, that also goes with the simplicity of consciousness in of itself. Are you thinking or are you knowing? And so we are always layering things within your experience to redefine what you perceive as your reality. So from face value, it seems very simplistic. Jade and I are sharing information with you on a daily basis. And, you're leveling up. You're leveling up. You're leveling up. But be aware there are some little hidden Easter eggs and nuggets in there. And so, and it's strange because I've done this my whole, all the decades I've been teaching people. I've always layered it this way. This is how my teachers layer it. You need to feel it for yourself. You need to experience it for yourself. You need to be able to validate it to be true to you and no one else, not Jade, not myself, not anybody. The truth is only what you believe. So what does that mean in essence? Well, I always keep referencing my good old friend Albert Einstein. I say that with such open heart, so fond of the simplicity of who he was, yet he was so complex. Two sides of the same coin, almost an impossibility. Really? Not really. But what happens is that guy was straight up an OG of channeling information, even though he didn't perceive it that way. He just thought he was really smart. That was probably the only fault, if anything, for his human being experience. In any case, he would do this little experiment on a daily basis with his students, with his peers, where we want to measure, where are you at? Are you using the human being experience, or are you actually conscious? That means that you have the student is the teacher is the student, always being aware of another intricacy, some other line, some other shape, some other way. You could be looking at the same thing day in, day out, and it will continually change as it is living. It's living. Energy is dynamic. It's moving. It's oscillating. It is never still. This is the ebb and flow of the universe. This is what's taking place right here, right now, beyond what you can see with the naked eye at a subatomic level, the infinite amount of dots that we speak of, that is the 0-point energy, that is the basically the united field, that is the oneness, that is the Tao, that is God, Buddha, universe. And so when you're using abundant, timeless, endless, limitless, infinite energy flow, this is taking place all day, every day. And what happens is you separate. When you actually compartmentalize, you regress back to the idea that you're a human and you are of this body, which I've spoken on many times before. What does that mean? It creates and evokes fear from most people when I ask them this question. If you truly believe you are not of this body, what can harm you? And the first trigger, the first thing that someone goes to is, I don't want to die. Whoa, where did that come from? It's kind of very similar to how I spoke on many times over whenever I share that I'm a Taoist priest. There's only one God. Whoa, easy, Sparky. This is something that is deep-rooted in the baseline of a human being. And what they don't realize is they're being programmed to think a certain way, to operate a certain way, to be limited. Jade and I's sole purpose is to unravel that so you realize you are all-knowing, you are all-powerful, you are all one, singular, in your entirety, in your viewpoint, in your reality. And so anyway, Albert Einstein would always do this. He'd be in his peers, be around his students, whatever. And he'd be testing people and where their baseline was. Are they really absorbing the information, or are they being myopic and, very introspective, analytical, cynical in their nature, fear-based, fight or flight, primal, reproduce and survive another day, which is basically the human condition. Where are you at? And so we do this. I'm doing a simple mathematical sum. However, math is not my favorite thing. Numbers are my favorite thing, but they're very simplistic, and how I implement them into the very inner working of my map of my reality, which is the cosmos. And people can go more over using the relevance of Way 126, 126, and how that's integrated into many things, and people would actually create parallels with other systems, methods. And so Albert Einstein would do this. He'd be in class, he'd be doing something, and be like, 1 + 1 = 2. He'd go through 5 or 6 or 10 mathematical sums, and people would just sit there. They'd be listening. And then he'd come up on the, randomly, out of nowhere. 9 + 10 = 11. And he heard nothing but silence for half an hour, 40 minutes. He'd ramble off these numbers, one sum after another, one equation after another. And the second he did 9 + 10 = 18, the room just, enraged with, no, you're wrong. He's like, have you got your own attention at this point? People are like, what? You're wrong. It's not 8. 9 + 10 is not 18. 9 + 10 is 19. So you've got your own attention. And they're looking at him like, listen, old man, I don't know. I think you're starting to lose your marbles. And he's like, the whole point of this exercise that you have been in this whole time, that I'm leveling up your consciousness, is to make you aware of how much you are operating in a duality. What are you talking about? I'm sitting here listening. I'm here to learn, Mr. E = MC², dude. It's like, this is the whole point. Not once did you validate the 47 equations that I got correct. Not once did you go, yes, that's great, good job, Mr. Einstein, excellent, Professor Einstein, fantastic. Not one validation. The second I said something that you believed was incorrect, you were so excited to tell me that I was incorrect. And this is this is how human beings operate. And it's very limited. And you're instantly able to validate that you are not conscious, you are not aware, you are not evolving. You are very myopic and very, very hyper-focused, which does not put you in a place of being. And so we layer this in quite often. And it may be a word mispronounced, it may be something. But it's funny. There'll be so many people, thousands of people that'll watch this stuff every day, and then randomly I'll get somebody who's like, you spelled it the wrong way, you said the wrong thing. And I'm just like, finally, we have a moment. Have you guys ever seen the movie Cocktail? Anyway, there's a scene in there where Tom Cruise is like killing himself to take himself through night college because he has to get this degree in business. And, his professor is like, talking to him, and he said something. He was falling asleep, and he woke up Tom Cruise, and he goes, light dawns on Marblehead. An epiphany, an elementary, my dear Watson. Did you know the English language is one of the most bastardized, confusing languages that you could ever imagine? That it is a jigsaw puzzle. If you could use the analogy, English language is the leftovers of Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It doesn't get any more crazier than that. Bits and pieces sewed up here, an ear here, a nose there, a leg sewed on here. It's a mishmash of so many different things. Yet there's this complete hubris from most people that believe they have mastered the grammatical sequence of how English is supposed to lay out. That's why I love the simplicity of the characters that come along with things that are deep-rooted into my DNA. Like Mandarin, Cantonese, moreover, more ancient characters that go way back to oracle bone reading. This is just the inner workings of who you are. And you'll find that when I always say everything is a number, a symbol, a letter, words are integrated into your very DNA, I'm not lying, but in most cases, you're resonating with something that goes back 20 lifetimes, 50 lifetimes. And it's certainly not a reflection of this, bastard child we call the English language. But in any case, we always get the one-hit wonder, and that's a moment of consciousness. That's the whole point. And if you're leveling up, you're absorbing what Jade and I are sharing with you, and you're not myopic, wasting your very essence on correcting a pronunciation of a specific word, whether it's in a grammatical order or not. I do not care. But I will leave a landmine for you, which will just remind you that you are thinking and not knowing. And the sole purpose of this channel is to put you in the knowing category, because you must feel it. That's it, beginning and end. And so for all the incredible, amazing people that visit this channel, that visit our social media, that absorb all the material that we put out for the sole purpose of awakening and rising up your consciousness to the highest awareness, to unveil the true essence of who you are, how powerful you are as an individual, as a collective, as a singular. That's the sole purpose of this, beginning and end. Excuse me.
I think it's like the difference between what somebody thinks they act like versus how they actually act. And like reality TV is a perfect example of this is, someone will be like, I'm not angry. And then all of a sudden, they got cameras on them or something. And then they watch it back and they're like on this apology tour of like, I'm so sorry for my behavior. I didn't realize I acted like that. And a lot of times you don't realize it or you don't think it until you get that kind of objective perspective or even that aha moment where you're like, oh, wow. Everybody always told me I was super angry and I'm always like, I'm the happiest person. And they watch themselves back or they reflect on a moment and go, yeah, I did start that bar fight, didn't I? Maybe I'm not maybe I'm not a happy person. Maybe that's, and that's that awareness where you start coming to that forefront and you can't make a change unless you actually realize there's something to change.
Right. As we always remind you, you know what you know. You don't know what you don't know. Booyah. Brilliant. And so, this is here for you to raise your consciousness. All the information we share with you here is to raise your consciousness. And for the few that are working, you are literally working on it, because that would be in definition how you perceive your reality, compartmentalized. And so just in case anyone wants a refresher, that's it. Understand that, know it to be true. And so when I immerse myself into the Tao teaching every day, every letter of every word of every verse is a rippling effect, a magical mystery ride for me that levels me up to a whole nother level of consciousness. I will start a verse and be void of time and space, which is nothing more than a simulation, but I will be the room, I'll be the earth, I'll be the universe in seconds. And you can't possibly bottle the alchemical factory that is created from my experience as the Tao. Second to none. All is one, one is all. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, you are what you surround yourself with. So, or what you immerse yourself with. So if you're like an engineer and that's kind of what you're looking at all day long, or an architect, the way I would look at a building and go, oh, wow, this looks amazing. They would go, oh, wow, look at the way they did the structure and look at the way they built the bricks and look at the way they did the foundation. And you know what I mean? It's like that your mind is working in that sequence of whatever it is that you're immersing yourself in. Like you said, if you're a teacher, you kind of always are looking at stuff in a teacher perspective, even if you're just on your day off on the weekends or something.
And it's once again a programming.
Exactly.
And it's simple. You can turn it on and off with a switch. The old expression, it's nothing more than a story, which we reiterate.
That's the power you have.
Right. And this comes back to a deeper understanding, and we speak more on the fundamentals of the structure of the energy that we put into anything and everything. And yesterday we spoke on how you can be completely void of it, depleted of your life force, if you engage in certain things with an understanding and operation of a duality. Please be very clear, ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies. This is what I speak on. And so your mindset, your perspective, your perception, your sensory perception of your reality is determined by how it rolls out. So you are a product of your environment. Your thoughts can switch on and off your gene expression. Your thoughts are nothing more than a projector. What, Sifu? What are you saying? I'll repeat that. Understand the truth teller, projector. Don't get it twisted. And so how does it become a projector, Sifu? It's your brain. You are thinking. There's a left side or the right side, and when the right doesn't do what the primal lizard brain, blah-de-blah, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's what I say. There's some things where I will validate specific neurology because it helps someone level up. And then there's points where I'm not even going to get into certain mechanics because it's not, it puts someone deeper and deeper into the weeds. The whole purpose of what we share, whether it's something from a physics perspective to a scientific perspective to a biological perspective, physiology, psychology, magic, mysticism, spirituality, energetics, metaphysical, it doesn't matter what it is, there is an angle that's there to have you level up. It's not for you to be suppressed, restricted, contracted. That's not the purpose of what we share. So when I see something that can make you expansive, I'm going to share it with you. If for any reason it could be perceived as restrictive, as contractive, as limiting, there's no need for it. There's certain things that there's value in understanding the mechanisms of the neurology of your body, brain, heart, and then understanding all the compartments of the brain can be of no value in relation to your awareness. Because if you understand this on a face value, the way Jade and I share it with you, you're only leveling up. You're just going to keep leveling up. We're not going to have you detour and go, wow, I got to think more about the thalamus and the pituitary gland and the it just becomes null and void. You know? So when I speak on specific things, it's to level your consciousness up, not to suppress it. So, the three treasures that we speak of, the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, and the thalamus, are the three treasures that are completely related to the alchemical factory that produces the rainbow fireworks 4th of July experiences that you speak on, that are evoked and are transmitted, transmuted, realized with your attention, intention, moving the energy, those 50 trillion cells, 50 trillion atoms, 50 trillion, trillions and trillions of volts of electricity within your physical body, and you're harnessing that. That's why we microdose you using things like the 126 experience with a visual audible experience, creating a kinesthetic response, giving you the go time that you are present, you are conscious, you are all-knowing, you are gamma, you are alpha, you are player in the game of universe, and you are the universe. The universe is you, you are the universe. The field is you, the field is you, the field is you, the field is you, you are the field. One more time, the field is you. And so everything, there isn't a single word, letter, number, color, expression, metaphor, analogy that is out of place. It is here for a specific reason. And if you have an aha moment where you're like, aha, Sifu said it the wrong way. Evaporate is not reverberate. You just lost a few possible points of IQ. No, I'm just kidding. But in actuality, you're restricting, suppressing your pure consciousness. Because when you resonate, reverberate, oscillate, expand your consciousness with the information that we're sharing here, you are feeling it. Mm-hmm. You are knowing it. The semantics of a letter, a word, a number, in or out of place is irrelevant. You're absorbing, you're observing, you're expanding. That's what's taking place. We can't reiterate that enough. And so that's the baseline. Always will be. So you can test yourself. And for anyone and everyone that listens to this podcast, you can catch yourself. It's self-regulating. Oh, I just heard Sifu say 9 3 times, and then he said it was 47. Oh. I'm analyzing this a little bit, aren't I? Yeah. So that's your validator. That's your go time. You're testing the waters to realize what is true. You must feel it. That's it. And so we always talk about the energy. We talk about the universe being inside you. And I was watching this podcast the other day, and we were talking more about energy, auras. So let's talk about that. In more detail, you can go and get the workshop, but let's give you the basic understanding. You're validating. So understand this. Your access to information is instantaneous. Anything and everything. What? I didn't get the memo? That's the memo. So you cannot unsee what you have already seen. You cannot unfeel what you have already felt. It's a feeling. Oh, yeah. So, what does that even mean? Well, now, you can do certain things that will evoke certain things. The basis of it is quite simple. You ask and you will receive. What is that simple? Yes. So what I want you to do, this is a little exercise for anyone, is all you do is look at a place, person, or thing. And you just ask yourself, because you are the universe, which you wouldn't be going, excuse me, universe, what do you think? No, all you're doing is saying, what color aura now? And of course, you're looking at that object, place, person, or thing, and it will give you a color. You'll either see it, or you'll hear it, or you'll hear it inaudibly, audibly, and see it. And your leveling up of your consciousness will become instantaneous. You write that down. Then you look at their halo. Write that down. And you're like, look, Sifu, with all due respect, I'm not seeing goose eggs up in here. Right now, I feel like I'm mumbling to myself, and I ain't seeing squat. I said, well, it's quite simple. We don't have to shut down senses for you to acquire this. It's as simple as the first piece of information that comes into your mind is the correct one. What? Are you kidding me? No, I'm not. I'm very serious. So when you ask, even if you are unable to see it in your third eye, eyes closed, closing that sense down, being able to focus on what would be in the projector itself, which it is nothing more than a projector, so that image will be instantaneous. You look at a place, person, a thing, and ask for the aura. Write it down.
When you close your eyes, though, you don't just see black.
No.
Like you could try it right now if you just close your eyes, and like, what do you see?
Well, that's the whole point.
It's not just black.
Well, no. I mean,
even taking away, whatever. Oh, I want to see the aura of this camera right now. I'm not going to stare at it, but I'm going to close my eyes. It's not like it's pitch black. There's flickers of everything. It depends on the
baseline of the person's perception of their reality and what they're working in. We are validating that there is something more by explaining this to them right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, your sensory perception is far more heightened than the average person. So you're being able to receive that information instantaneous and being able to see very vivid images is a development thing, but also on the same side of that coin, ladies and gentlemen and ladies, as we have spoken on it right here, right now, you could hear Jade and I say it, you could close your eyes and boom, you have Warner Brothers running through your head instantaneously. That's how powerful it is. That's how powerful instantaneous access is, and it's evoked instantly with your... Once you've seen it, once you've heard it, once you've felt it, you cannot unsee it, unhear it, unfeel it. So then you go from, okay, I look at the person, and the first color that comes into my head, whether I close my eyes, I see it, or I hear it inaudibly, or I hear it audibly. Now you could level up on your clear hearing instantaneously and be able to hear quite clearly a very clear sound or a voice that will be coming from your higher guides, your higher self, a divine source, instantly. Be very clear on that. And so you call this in, and you go, all right, look, well, what color is the aura? Yellow. Great. What color is the halo? Red. Write it down. Then you start looking at, I want to see the 5 organs, because that's basically the 5 major organs that create the fluidity and connect with all the energy centers that create flow for you from earth to you to universe. And we want to make sure they're balanced, they're not excess or deficient. So you just call in the color of the liver. Boom. The color of the lungs. Boom. The color of the kidneys, boom. The color of the spleen, boom. The color of the heart. So you have those 5 organs. And this is a nice little twist for you. Each organ, all you need to do is ask, what's the virtue? What's the emotion? And watch that freak you out. It'll instantly come. Now you start to, as you become more proficient at it, you will start to get very clear understanding of the mechanics of individuals very quickly, instantaneously. And you'll know their mental emotional state. But let's just say for all purposes, null and void, right here, right now, this is how you're going to frame it. And then I want you to come back to this video and put down your experiences, because it's going to be profound and it's going to be instantaneous because you've already been given the framework. And even if it's just like, I got this color in my... Write it down. I got this emotion. I write it down. I was told that they were efficient or deficient. Write it down. This is all about leveling up on your sensory perception. And you will connect with their aura and be even more sensitive, so you can literally feel what they're feeling. And it's not literally, you will feel what they're feeling. Because we're all empaths, we're all interconnected. So all you need to do is call on what it is that you want, because you are the field, and it will be yours. It will be yours realized instantly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, that like I have a hard time sometimes even just like watching YouTube videos if they're like a little bit emotional or something, or it's about, you know, somebody giving birth or something, and I'm like, you're looking at me and you're like, are you crying? And I'm like, no, I'm not.
And
but
that,
I
and
but I
that's that
just
tuning.
connect, you know. So it's
And
like
that's that instantaneous tuning, as Jade would say.
yeah, I mean, you're already tapping into it. Now you're just refining those skills a little bit
So it can be at will.
exactly, and writing it down to recognize it, and then start reflecting and go, whoa, wait, I'm kind of already doing this and I didn't even realize.
Right. There is no exception. If you're a human being and you have 5 senses and you have the neurology of a human being, you will obtain this skill. And it really starts with the base of your mirror neurons. And that's replicating everything. That's your database, your recorder that's recording all the information that you're perceiving, that you're transferring from wave to matter to particle. That's what it's doing. So your ability to access that is instantaneous. That's why it's so powerful. That's why you can do it immediately. That's why you can watch a horror movie and have the living crap scared out of you. That's why you can watch a romantical, romance film, and fall deeply in love with their connection. You will be able to discern or decide how good the script writing is, how good the acting is, because of whether they're able to emote it so you can experience it yourself and go, my goodness, that was so powerful. And so these are the basic fundamentals of aura reading, and we're going to get into it. There will be a video, and then obviously a workshop that will be available too for people to sign up for. And I'll go deep into it, guys. Easy. And so you'll walk away from the workshop with a learned skill that you acquired instantaneously. But just starting with the fundamentals that we're speaking of right now, you'll be shocked. That's how we start mastering. That's how you start leveling up. You're all-knowing. And so when I see people running from things like channeling and things like that, you're doing it all day, every day. Let me remind yourself, let me repeat myself right now. All thoughts of your mind are not yours. Ooh, Sifu, that really is scaring the living bejesus out of me.
Yeah, it's funny. We were just talking about this today, how, you know, some people will, we'll say, oh, you know, feel a spirit and energy of this, and they'll start to freak out, and we'll be like, you know, what is it? And they're like, I feel it. I don't know who this is, and I don't want them in, and I
don't want them in.
I'm, you know, I'm Catholic, or I'm Christian, and I'm Jewish, and like, and it's like, and we always go to remind them, like, well, it has nothing to do with that. Aren't you excited that you felt it? Like that's more the premise of these things. It's like, we're teaching you to put your shoes on and how to tie your laces, and that you have the ability to do that. I don't care what pair of shoes you want to wear. You just have the ability to put a pair on and go, hey, I can walk or run or do whatever I want to do. I couldn't care less if you want to wear heels, if you want to wear sneakers, if you want to wear boots. That's your decision. But the fact that you could feel it, and they freaked out because they're like, I can feel it. Who is this energy? And it's like, no, you're missing the point. You felt it. That's the point. It's not about whatever the energy is. You pick whatever energy you want, but you got that skill and you felt it. That is that, like, oh, and then they, you know, they kind of bring it back down, but that's their personality self a little bit. And I think That's where we're trying to get people to understand. It's that feeling when you feel whatever it is that you feel, that's that empowering moment.
Yeah. And so, that is critical. Feeling it and being able to be a source of your pure source information and getting it firsthand. And that's what we are the best at, second to none. And so mastering of the energy, we are best at, second to none. Oh yeah. The only other source that is more powerful than a Taoist at harnessing the energy is the energy, is the universe, is the Tao. So you have this understanding. And so that's a basic framework of aura reading. Now we're going to just get into a little bit more of the mechanics and the understanding of, firsthand energy concentration. Moreover, as interesting as it always is, as the audience is aware, as Jade is aware, if I speak it, it is so. And so that rush of energetic pulsating heat, just that feeling, that chi feeling that you're experiencing, you're welcome. Because it's just part of it. I've been doing this a long time. I've been doing this for many lifetimes. As a priest, as other energies that we can speak of at some point in the future. But let's just say that I've been a priest for many, 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 many lifetimes mastering these skills. So to acquire it, to access it, to share it is immediate. And I don't have to get in the lotus position. And so neither do you. And once you've seen it, you cannot unsee it. So once you're, remember, guys, when we talk about that expression, you are who you hang out with. So you're hanging out with us on a daily basis. You work out whether that's helping you or not. You decide, you discern what you gravitate to, what is valuable to you. Whoa. Oh, my goodness. Whew. What's that song? I think it was from Usher. Is it Usher? It's getting hot in here. Or is that someone else?
No, that's Nelly.
Oh, it is. I'm sorry.
I was going to say,
Nelly.
you love that song.
I love Nelly. Excuse me. I'm not really an Usher fan, to be honest with you. No offense, my friend. There's two really major players, Nelly and Genuine. They're my boys. Very simplistic, but very powerful, incredible conduits of pure divine source energy. And perhaps maybe, I can read auras, so I might gravitate to things that I like a little bit more. Yeah, so we're already validating this density of energy that's present here in the space. And this is part of the activation, right? This dense source energy that we speak of. And so what we have here is a realization. We're going to go straight to the truth teller, and we're going to open up the first 9 chambers of the middle dantian. And this is sort of very relevant to part of the expansion of the red phoenix within the activation sequence that we like to call Shazam. Well, not really, but the rising of the red phoenix, the realization of that interconnection, the true alignment of the sun, the earth, and the moon, and what that actually means on a very, very deep ritual level, and the synchronicity of the universe is far more profound than you even could possibly wrap your little minds around. Just don't use your minds. Go to your truth teller. And so we use the moving energy with our mind, moving energy with our breath, and then that mastery is what we look forward to. So this is a real basic chi packing. And so when we share this stuff, remember, the student is the teacher is the student. There's no exception to the rule that, yes, I'm evoking a frequency, energy, and vibration instantaneously with my eyes open. I'm not waving my hands going, can you feel it? Whoa. Mm-hmm. I don't need to. Because once I think it, it is so. Once I think it, it is so. Once I think it, it is so. Oh. And I mean, her aura is rippling for anyone that doesn't have the clear vision. That is only moments away from you realizing it, but just for all intensive purposes at this particular moment that you are not able to see it, Jade's aura is, basically reverberating and oscillating an electric sort of like pulse of energy. It's like really deep in the truth teller. You like that? Mm-hmm. So, let's just get it on. And it's not Barry White, by the way. Let's get it on. Yeah, he was such a beautiful soul. Mm-hmm. Still is. Be careful what you wish for. So now I've got him in my ear. But in any case, that's not really a big deal. We can talk more about systems of cultivation at a later point, Barry. You have some very interesting perspectives, to say the least. But let's just start with that incredible voice of yours and what that tool was capable of in relation to the rippling and echoing effects. So, we start with the first 9 chambers out of the 81 chambers of the middle Dantian, all being realized as basically seeds within what we call the sacred infinite garden, which is on a much deeper level that is held within the earth energy that is part of the rising of the red phoenix. But the sacred infinite garden has incredible relevance to the cultivation of Taoist practices, and of course ultimately the sacred infinite flower that comes from the sacred infinite garden. Whoa, Sifu. We have many, many flowers within the sacred infinite garden. And it's so funny because some people will hear some of this stuff in more detail and go, there's a lot of parallels with other systems. I'm sure there is. But you're going to hear it here first, because this stuff hasn't been revealed to the world yet. People are getting the message, like the way 126 mic drop. Work that one out. Go deep on that one, guys. Go deep on that one, guys. Go deep on that one. So, 9 chambers. And so when you're feeling this, you like that? When you're feeling this, it's like Play-Doh. Let's make a pizza. Isn't that funny? Okay, I'm getting the message. Jade might come out with a hook and shh. So, we have this seed. That's all it takes. Now your neurology is working for you, because I've sent out the energy, frequency, vibration, and it is starting to oscillate within you. And you are aware of that. The thing that is most powerful and validation and confirmation of that is that you experienced it before I even said it. And that's just part of the training that we put you through so that you are able to level up. Because until you feel it, it is not so. You need to validate it for yourself. And there's nothing more than an aha moment when you go, man, I was feeling that before Sifu even said anything. So, let's activate those 9 chambers. It's going to be quite simple. It's going to go like this. You're going to inhale and exhale 9 times. Follow my lead. And then on the 9th time, as you inhale, you're going to hold it. And you're going to hold it, and I'm going to count from 9 to 0. Are we clear on this? So, this is an activation of the first 9 chambers of the middle dantian, and you will be the validator of this. You will be the tuning fork, and your experiences should be documented and written down. Moreover, come back to this channel, come back to this page, write it down, tell us what you experience. But I already know what you're going to experience. And you're welcome. So, we're going to start. You follow my lead. For novice, experienced gurus, you can turn off a sense, you can turn on a sense. It's for you to decide. I operate normally with eyes open, eyes closed, eyes open. It's all good for me. It's all gravy, baby. So, we're going to go in and out. I'm going to count 9 times. And then on the last one, you're going to inhale. On the 9th time, you're going to inhale. You're going to hold it. Then I'm going to count down from 9 to 0. Are you ready? Inhale for the first time. Inhale for the second time. Inhale for the third time. Inhale for the 4th time. Inhale for the 5th time. Inhale for the 6th time. Inhale for the 7th time. Inhale for the 8th time. And the last time, inhale. Hold it. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Expand. Sit with that. Be with that. All is one, one is all. Let that phosphorus white light, that glowing amber, let it expand. That's right. And yes, everything that comes out of my mouth at this point has a reverberation within the very core of your physical body. That's right. Let it sink deep. Let it expand. Let it oscillate. My goodness. I'm going to play with that dough a little bit right now as I start kneading and twirling and circulating that divine energy in your middle dantian as those 9 chambers have been activated permanently. I'm going to turn it over a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Expand more. We need it a little bit more. That's right. And a little bit more. Like fuel on a fire. Oh my goodness, that's so dense. That's right. Let it glow. Let it seep out. Expanding. Shimmering. Oscillating. Glowing. I'm just going to laser focus that a little bit. So it's right deep in the middle of the core of your dantian. That's right. Want to suckle it a little bit more. Oh, yeah. How profound. Sit with that. Be with that. Know. Knowing is feeling. Knowing is knowing. Oh my goodness. All those people who entered this space with that restrictive, contractive feeling within their heart, as it opens, as it expands, as it dissolves all stagnation. Let it be now. Oh my goodness. Oh. Let it just seep through the very core and the essence of your physical body. Now. Oh. Oh my goodness. And to level up, to measure the amplitude of this incredible frequency, vibrational shift that you have just engaged, that you've just activated within your own physical body through your energetic body. I'm going to slowly have you move into a smile. Whoa. Grin from ear to ear now. Flex it. Flex it even more. Whoa. Oh, that's right. And as you feel that anchor concentrate, as that middle dantian expands with nothing more than pure source energy, flex it again. And one more time. Oh, just be with that. Just be with that. Let it be. For all those people that are in a distance, that hear my voice from a distance, if at all, stay in the state that you have created right here, right now. And I will slowly take the energy off my very spoken word so that you may climatize your sensory perception to what you need right here, right now. So as you bathe in this bliss source energy that you've saturated your physical body with, as you've mastered yourself, you've leveled up, experiencing and evoking this energy, frequency, vibration. Stay with it. Be with it. Oh my goodness. That's all you need right here, right now. Today's been very informative, understanding the pure source energy, understanding what it takes to level up your consciousness, understanding the mechanics of aura reading, and now understanding the activation of the first 9 chambers of your middle dantian, and how all-powerful, all-knowing that is in leveling up your sensory perception. And once you take this new skill, this new shifting of your consciousness, altering of your very DNA that we speak of, you can now look back at these newfound skills that you've acquired through the exposure of this material and the energy, frequency, vibration that you have received and now have climatized to, regulated to, synchronized to. It's yours now, it's yours forever, forevermore. You can recall it at will. Oh, yeah. And with that said, I will speak for my divine, delectable co-host as she bathes in the very frequency that she has created, the signature that she is oscillating in. And I will thank High Priestess Jade and as your humble servant and Sifu, my own oscillation, my own expansion, my own reverberation is taking place right here, right now. And as your humble servant and Sifu, Taoist Master San Qing, and I will see you on the next one, guys.